The Library of Babel asks the question, if you have an infinite amount of choices, do you really have none at all? This is addressed in the story in the form of a library with all of the possible combinations of books in the world. The problem is that no one knows whether a book has, for example, a categorized list of the library, or if it is just a bunch of nonsense. In the end, Jorge Borges answers the question by saying that it is a beautiful part of life that we have a free will, and that whether we make a good or bad choice, it doesn't matter as long as we are able to choose. This is a classic Jorge Borges story because it uses a metaphor to denounce a common trend at the time, which Jorge Borges disagrees with. This short story portrays Jorge Borges' style of writing very well, and if I were to pick one short story to summarize his work, it would be this one. One of the reasons I chose to do the Library of Babel is because it is 5 pages long, and so it was convenient to translate it into a script, which was also 5 pages long. Additionally, it has a good story arc that I followed while writing the screenplay. One challenge that I had when writing the screenplay was that my story had no dialogue in it. To overcome this problem, I added a narrator to the story, and made him the main character. This worked well because the story assumes the point of view of a narrator anyways. By adding a narrator, the story becomes much more feasible as a short film, because without a narrator there are essentially no other characters. Even with the character, it was still hard to meet the 5-page minimum because there was still little dialogue, and much of the story was just descriptions of the library. A final reason why I chose this short story is because it is about a library and related to language arts. Also, the author, Jorge Borges, was a librarian and often wrote surreal stories with complex metaphors such as this one. In conclusion, The Library of Babel is a classic short story and is, in my opinion, an important piece of both literature and history, which is why I chose it for my screenplay.